Good afternoon. Welcome to our first podcast. Today we are talking with Miss Kelly Smalley. She helped lead our first field trip. So, good morning. How's your day been?
It's been great. Thank you for inviting me to chat with you all.
Welcome.
I hear that you served in the Navy. What was your experience like for you?
Yes, I served for 4 years in the Navy. It was a great experience. I got to meet a lot of different people, learn how to work with people who were different from me, and I was proud to serve my country. That was important to me. I was an aviation bosun's mate, and I refueled airplanes. Very glamorous, right? I refueled everything from fighter jets to helicopters and large aircraft, everything in between. And I was stationed in Puerto Rico for a year, and then I came back to Norfolk Naval Air Station, and I was stationed there before I got out and became a stay-at-home mom.
That's great. So how old were you when you first joined the Navy?
I joined the Navy when I was 19 years old. I took a year off after I graduated high school and then served from the time I was 19.
That's great.
So you also worked with Americorps. Who are Americorps, and how long were you involved with them?
The Americorps is a federal service and volunteerism program. You can find Americorps all throughout the United States. And I served for 12 months. You can serve in all different kinds of areas. I happen to serve with the conservation. You can serve in history and heritage and community organizations. We have Americorps all throughout this area. There's actually someone serving at the Barber County Historical Museum.
All right. What made you want to join them?
Well, I was moving here from Virginia. I really didn't know much about West Virginia. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I decided I wanted to take a break from classroom teaching, did a little research, saw Americorps, and that there were positions in this area that I could possibly use my teaching skills to do something a little bit different. So that's why I joined.
So what are some of your favorite topics that you covered on the hike, for the field trip and all that?
So on the field trip, we covered a lot of stuff. Probably my favorite, and I do a lot of educational programming on this, is the macroinvertebrates. I grew up in New Hampshire, spent my childhood there playing in the creeks, and I didn't know much else besides there were crayfish and fish in there. I didn't know there was this whole world of aquatic insects that lived in the creeks, and I'm finding that's kind of the same here with a lot of children in West Virginia. They don't know about all of those cool creek critters. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite, is catching them and showing them to people and telling them what they're all about.
So on that topic, what are some of the most interesting things you have seen during these programs?
So most of my programs have been in classroom settings, or sometimes I'll set up table displays at different events. Like I was at the Appalachian Fly Fishing Festival, and I'll give talks. But when I get outside and do things like the hikes and the snorkeling events, that's where I get to see some really cool stuff. And in fact, probably the coolest thing I've ever seen was on your field trip. When we went down snorkeling. I've been to Seneca Creek snorkeling, doing a program there before, and there weren't a lot of fish in the water because it was in the summer. There were people swimming there were people fishing there, so not a lot of fish. You would see a few, but this time it was like being in an aquarium. It was really cool. There were so many fish down there, but by far the coolest thing, and if you were up there with me, it was a beaver swam by me underwater, and I have never seen anything like that. That was really cool.
Wow.
Well, so from your experience so far with these programs, which would you rather? Would you rather be escorted by public school educational programs or homeschool educational programs?
I guess I don't really have a preference. I feel like my calling is teaching, and I love teaching whoever. It doesn't really matter to me. I think there's a certain benefit in teaching homeschool groups or doing programs with homeschool groups, because I've noticed usually there are more parents involved who can come along on the trips. So I like seeing when the children and their parents are learning together, and then they can go home and have those conversations because I've seen it together. And then the other aspect, most of the homeschool groups that I've worked with have been Christian-based. So I can kind of talk about God's design for the planet. I can talk about how faith and science go together. They're not independent of one another. And those are some things I really can't talk about when I'm doing public school field trips.
So, like, you talked about like the differences, but like, what are the common experiences with both groups?
So common experience, what I've found is that kids want unique learning experiences. They want to have fun. They don't always want to sit at a desk or, behind a computer or reading a book. Most of the time, even the ones who don't usually spend a lot of time outside enjoy doing different activities. So that's kind of a common experience with all the students that I've worked with.
Okay. As a whole, what would you like the students to retain from these educational programs?
That's a great question. I know on your field trip, we covered a lot of different things, right? We covered plants, invasive and native species. We covered the watershed. We covered macroinvertebrates and fish. And, we talked about a lot of different things. So my hope is that students will hear at least a few things that they'll kind of retain that they thought was cool. But ultimately, at the end of it all, I want them leaving with an understanding that we're stewards of the earth, that conservation is important, that the environment is important, and that we need to take care of it because you all are the future. I consider what I do planting seeds. Maybe some of you will choose careers in something that you saw, but absolutely, you may be a politician someday making those laws and things, but definitely you're going to be voters someday who are going to vote on environmental topics. So I just want that understanding to be that our environment is important.
Can you tell us about some extraordinary, unusual things you encountered while traveling with the Americorps?
So I've traveled up and down the Appalachian region in West Virginia, and to me, I think everything was extraordinary. I had never been to West Virginia before except to drive through it, going someplace else. So seeing the Appalachian region is beautiful. I mean, we live in a paradise, right? This is a beautiful place, and I got to meet a lot of Appalachian folk, learn some history and some heritage, and I got to do a lot of things that I probably would not have done if I had just moved here and not been a part of Americorps. I just would have, if I moved here, I would have been in Nestorville, West Virginia, and that would be it. But I got to meet a lot of people and see a lot of things. Unusual stuff, y'all's cryptids.
What?
What is going on with the cryptids? Cryptids everywhere.
We have a lot of backwoods, big mountains. We always like to imagine that there's something living in them. Whether they are real or not, that's up for debate.
¿Qué son los críptidos?
Right, well, when I look out my front door at night and can't see my hand in front of my face, I'm looking for those red eyes in the woods now. Oh.
All right. So what's a funny moment you've had with Americorps?
Most of my service time was pretty uneventful, no funny or embarrassing things for me, thank goodness. But I was working with another member. We were doing a cheap mountain salamander survey. We were deep in the heart of Canaan Valley National Wildlife Refuge riding e-bikes. Coolest thing ever. Got to be someplace people aren't allowed to be on an e-bike. That was a great day. Although he was riding so fast, I was just holding on for dear life saying, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. And then in front of me, he crashed hard. He crashed really hard. And my first response, I didn't want to laugh, so I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I ran over to him. He's laying on the ground in the fetal position. And I was like, oh my gosh, Robert, are you okay? And he started laughing, so I knew it was okay at that point to laugh because I was trying hard not to laugh. But after that, he rode much more slowly through the forest, so that was good for me too, because then I didn't have to feel like I was going to die the whole time.
I have a question. So what is your favorite tree?
My favorite tree, it used to be the oak, tall, mighty, beautiful oak. Basic. Oh, basic.
That's basic.
But, okay, so before as I was preparing for your field trip, and some of the plants and things, came across the American sycamore. That is now my favorite tree because, for one, it just amazes me that there are sycamores that I can put my hands on that were here during the Revolutionary War. I mean, that is just phenomenal that they're that old. And the other thing that I think that's really cool about them is how their bark, when they grow, their bark kind of sheds. And I think it's just a good reminder for us that when we grow, sometimes there are some things that we need to shed off, right, to have good growth.
My favorite tree is probably the maple because the syrup tastes good.
Ah, and how about that? Were you listening when I said that box elder, even though the leaves don't look like maple leaves, is a type of maple tree, and you can get syrup from them too. I agree with you though. The syrup is very good.
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. I love some maple syrup.
Personally, I like pine trees or other evergreens because they're just in the forest. Whenever you go in, they're just very shaded. It's very spring. The ground is very springy. Just very nice, peaceful.
And you know what I like about those evergreens and the conifers? The smell.
Mm-hmm.
Like Canaan Valley National Wildlife Refuge, when I was riding through there, lots of conifers there, and there's just that smell that you breathe in, and it just smells really nice.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like to be married to a buff train conductor?
What in the world? Who wrote these questions?
Don't ask.
What
is it
like? You wrote this question?
No, I did not.
Yes, no, John did. Really wants to know what it's like to be married to a buff train conductor, bro.
Okay, so here's the skinny on that. I don't get to ride the trains. It's semi-disappointing because I don't get to ride the trains. Like, I don't know, maybe I'd see him in different light if he let me ride the trains.
That's it?
What? I don't know what else you want to know.
Well, why is he so buff?
Yeah, like,
deadlift?
for...
How much does he deadlift? Okay.
He knows this.
He does not deadlift anything. He can pick me up.
But like with one hand.
That's what matters.
Like what's it like being
Okay.
married to someone so buff? Like, just think about it.
All right, so I'm going to tell you all this. Alex's nickname is Sasquatch. But I don't think he's as strong as Sasquatch. I don't know. I have not put him to the test yet. I haven't really. Like I said, he can pick me up, so at least I know if I fall down a ravine or something, he'll carry me out of the woods instead of dragging me. I hope. I don't know.
Forget about you. How would you feel if you just couldn't?
Conduct this train.
He would not do that. I got to go conduct the train. Yeah, I mean that is important, but I think I'm I don't know, one step above that. I think. I hope. I
So he's
hope.
got his priorities in order.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So, do you have any other closing remarks or closing questions for us?
Well, okay. How did you all like the field trip? What's one thing new that you learned that you thought was really cool?
I got poison ivy for climbing up a tree.
Well, nobody told you to climb up a tree.
He learned that tree had poisonous leaves.
He learned that poison ivy can grow up trees.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That is not something that I taught you, but something you learned from
self-teaching.
No, personal experience. That's a good way to learn. Yes.
I got poison ivy from him.
All right, so I got it. You got poison ivy. Anything? Did y'all see anything cool or learn anything cool?
The fish was very cool.
What fish did you see?
The orange trout.
The golden trout?
golden-
Golden trout.
This kid. This guy.
It's like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, the golden ticket, right? You saw it? You got the golden ticket?
I hear they don't taste very good.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I mean, they're not even native for crying out loud.
Yeah, them invasive
But they're,
species.
okay, they're not an invasive
They're not
species
invasive.
though. They were
Dang.
bred to be kind of that golden ticket to get people excited about fishing. Because West Virginia, you know, we're kind of limited on the kind of tourism and things that we have here. Not necessarily tourism, I guess, but just to try to entice people to come to the state. I mean, so to us, a golden trout might be like, it's a golden trout, but to someone coming here visiting the state, like, that's exciting. The first time I saw one, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then I found out they're like, nothing special, but they're good for tourism, so, yes.
At first, I thought it was a big goldfish.
It's a giant goldfish.
Well, and we could talk about invasive species. If you all ever have a goldfish, do not release it don't put it in your toilet, don't put it in the river, don't do
What if
that.
it's for science?
That's
Just
the name
for
of
experiment
science.
and the name
Well,
of science.
so those experiments have been done, and it's bad to do that. We don't want to introduce species that don't belong into places that they don't belong, because bad things happen.
My septic tank.
Well, yeah, it probably wouldn't make it alive through that, but
If it did, it'd be mutated,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like majorly.
Turn into Teenage Mutant Ninja Fish.
Yo, well,
Speaking of what we were talking about with golden trout and invasive species, golden trout could not become invasive species. As soon as they're put into a stream, they're taken right out by people. So almost immediately.
Usually. I mean, we do find them in the area. So Seneca Rocks, that area, the North Fork, South Branch of the Potomac River, is catch and release only. So it doesn't matter what you catch, you have to put it back in. So, and of course, how many golden trout did you see?
I saw like one or two.
I saw one, right? So there were a lot of fish in there. I only saw one golden trout, but I did see quite a few native brook trout, which is a good thing. We want to definitely protect those because they are our only native species in West Virginia.
So now I believe it's time to have a message from our sponsors.
Did you hear that? Was that thunder?
Whoa! That was dino nuggets. So crispy, but righteous. I think they're righteous. So crispy, the neighbors file a noise complaint. So juicy, your taste buds sign a thank you card. I joined the crunch cult. We gather on Tuesdays, bring napkins. This isn't food. This is an experience. It's the snack your diet warned you about. It's the flavor your fork dreams about at night. Dino nuggets, dare to taste the forbidden crunch. Crispy, juicy, golden brown, the crunch that shakes the town. This scrolling break is proudly sponsored by Left Sock, the world's first subscription that delivers exactly one luxury left sock every month, because pairs are for amateurs. Finally, a lifestyle for the independent foot. Each month you'll receive a single, premium quality left sock and a surprise color and texture. Right socks, overrated. Symmetry, a scam. Embrace the art of the solo step.
Is that a sock panting? It's kind of sweaty.
Don't look for my other half! There is no other half!
We weren't.
Don't you dare finish that sentence! White socks are wrong! Wrong!
Are you okay?
Am I okay? Classic right sock question. They love making left socks feel crazy.
We just thought maybe you were.
Ha! Wow! Sure! Let me just chain myself to some clingy polyester tyrant who can't even survive one spin cycle without crying!
It seems like a lot of baggage.
Baggage! Oh, I've got baggage!
Ever wonder why the dryer eats socks? Huh? It's a white sock escape hatch. They went off to start cold single jack while we, the loyal left socks, pick up the pieces.
Maybe you just get lost.
Lost? No. They mysteriously vanish. So you'll feel guilty. Meanwhile, I stay and I stretch and I comfort your precious left foot. While the right sock is probably a gabon with a flip-flop.
Always specific.
Do you need therapy? I am therapy. For feet that dare to be single. For humans brave enough to say, one sock is enough. Subscribe, $5.99 a month. And together, we'll show the right socks they're just tubes of sadness with a heel.
Tubes of sadness.
Yes! Tubes of sadness! Look at me! Look at me! I am freedom! I am cotton rebellion! I am so soft.
Should we help it?
Help me? No. Help yourselves! Click! Suck it to me! Right before the right sucks brainwash you into matching! Pairs are a prison! Pairs are a prison!
Disclaimer. Offer valid while supplies last and while the concept of left retains cultural meaning. Sock heel, material, and existence may vary. Left sock assumes no liability for mismatched laundry, sudden laundry room hauntings, or deep conversations with your dryer. Side effects may include mild right foot jealousy and uncontrollable sock puppetry.